Hey, how's it going? We are continuing series where we're taking a look at one of the, if not the best performing businesses. Currently looking at UK and organizations that only one requirement, the organization would need to be set up in UK, right? Now when I'm looking at the history, some organizations have been started, perhaps by business people from UK, but not necessarily those organizations started or have been set up in UK. But either way, we're looking at the best performing organizations. We're looking at 10 of those. We currently in this video we're gonna be looking at HSBC Holdings. That's a banking organization, and they have a number of services that they're offering to their customers. But core business that would be banking, day-to-day banking. Let's take a look at perhaps quick introduction for people out there who haven't seen it, done it, done anything with this organization. HSBC Holdings commonly refers to HSBC. It's kind of strange, but well, once you take a look at the history, that probably would begin making more and more sense. Is needed one of the world's largest and most prominent banking and financial service organizations. So if anything, this is what they do. They do offer administration support. Then you need to some assistance with your money, right? Perhaps this is what's happening right now, but there might be some changes within the industry, right? Where administration of your finance is just because the fees, right? The fees, of my personal understanding, is perhaps they're charging too much, right? If you can, perhaps you might wanna do everything yourself, and not necessarily that would be a requirement. But again, there's might be a very challenging environment to enter. But either way, this is what's happening. We have some of those players out there in the market might want to slow down things. Referring to cryptography and cryptocurrency and some of those projects when it comes to blockchain, perhaps those projects would allow people to manage their own money instead of having a bank doing all administration tasks for those people. People could do it themselves, so perhaps that would have some impact on some of those banking organizations. But either way, if you ask me, everyone can do whatever they want. Perhaps just by following this process, perhaps people should have a right to manage their own finance, their own money, without paying extra fee to banking institutions. Briefly, HSBC Holdings are one of the world's largest banking and financial service organizations up there. One of the largest. I have taken a look at top banking institutions up there. It's up there, top 10 in the world, right? Not necessarily limited just to UK. But I don't know how what they if organization itself only manages finances, only administration, right? So do they actually own property, own real estate? How come? What's the portfolio like, right? So how those organizations become so powerful? I can imagine that. Perhaps there's a lot of things that happen is happening in the background where banks they slowly over time to takes ownership of the buildings, property, real estate, everything that holds values. So well, this is what I personally believe is happening right now. Those banks slowly, from over managing administration tasks, they're slowly taking over ownership of the houses, property, many things, right? So then those organizations slowly become more powerful and holds more value, but over time, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds, perhaps years. Let's take a look at some of the things like history, core values, financial details, market share, all the details. Let's cover in this video. HSBC Holdings history. It's a testament of its enduring presence in the global financial landscape. Founded in 1865 as a Hong Kong and Shanghai banking corporations in response to the growing trade between China and Europe. The bank quickly established itself as a key player in facilitating international commerce. Over the years, it expanded in operations throughout a series of strategic acquisitions. So they had acquired more and more market share, more and more customers, and perhaps they're performing very well, I guess, including the purchase of Midland Bank in UK in 1992, which marked its early entry into the retail banking sector. Overall, so there was perhaps two companies that was trading at the time. Perhaps that's how it started, right? Two companies, and they had a bank at the time with the Hong Kong, for people who understand the history, it was slightly different, right? It was ruled by or administrated by UK. Now it's currently it's administrated by People's Republic of China. So at the time it was administrated as well. It facilitated trade. So all the transaction administration tasks. This is how things got started. And from time to time they might be interested in acquiring other banks. I didn't realize that that's what's happening, right? So most of the banks are insured by the government. Once a bank is insured by the government, there is a chance that if you have a bank, right, you're running your banking organizations and everything, and if your bank would go under, government might take your bank and give it to another company, right? To put it plainly, right? With everything, right? So with all the customers, with everything what's happening, that's an option that can happen, as well as if yourself you would like to exit whatever business you might be running, perhaps within whatever government country you might want to exit and offer all the systems, procedures, customers, if anything, to other players in the market so they can acquire a large market share. So this is what's happening in the example that I have shared. HSBC's roots in Hong Kong were instrumental in its growth, and it became a conduit for capital flows between East and West. This unique position allowed it to weather economic and geopolitical challenges, including the World Wars and the handover of Hong Kong from British to Chinese sovereignty in 1997. The bank's commitment to international trade and its adaptability have been integral to its success. So overall, for people who following the history, so world map was split by Portuguese and Spain in east and west. West was for management of Spain, and east was the management of Portuguese over time. So this is how things got started, and now from there it became a trade from east to west. So either way, so it's just splitting a maps, operational areas, and everything what's happening, right? So it would be easier for people to follow what's information up there and what they are actually trying to say. So over time, how we're splitting those, as well as I have seen in Hong Kong, there's a number of banks, HSBCs and similar ones who are operating, but perhaps for different businesses. And if you are looking to expand your operations worldwide, east to west, you might be interested in reaching out to some of the banking institutions there. HSBC's core values are grounded in commitment to integrity, accountability, customer focus, and teamwork. I'll summarize. There's so much information of that, but this video is gonna be way too long. Let's jump from account of the core values. Let's jump to financial detail. HSBC Holdings boosted total assets in the trillions, making it one of the largest banking institutions globally. Its revenue and net income were also substantial, reflecting its extensive operations and diversified services. It's essential to note that these financial figures may have evolved since then, depending when you're looking at. But again, the same as laws and lobbying, right? So what's happening is could be not necessarily limited to US, even in Europe, they're taking actions where they're lobbying into where you would take out a loan, right, to purchase a property, business, whatever case might be, and bank by giving you a loan can take over the ownership of whatever case might be, and slowly over time more banking institutions will take over more and more assets. There's a book published on this topic for people who are interested, and how slowly those banks are taking over. But now with having some projects up there who are looking to give back control to the people, I guess. I don't know how that makes me sound, but that's important. I personally believe that's important. HSBC's market share is significant in various segments, reflecting its global presence. In the retail banking, it holds a substantial market share in multiple countries, particularly in Asia and Europe, where it operates numerous branches and serves millions of retail customers in corporate banking. HSBC is known for its strength in facilitating international trade and cross-border transactions, making it a top choice for multinational corporations. I'm not promoting anyone. I'm not doing business where I know those companies, but perhaps they might be able to offer very good services. Perhaps I don't know. Seems like we're overcharging for these services, but I haven't done any business with them. In addition to the basic financial metrics, several performance indicators can be vital for evaluating bank's health and stability. Return on asset ROA and return on equity ROE are key indicators. ROA measures how effectively the bank utilizes its assets to generate profits. So we have a lot of assets and how those assets are performing. So slowly from perhaps just overseeing administration tasks or transactions of the capital, all of a sudden banking becomes real estate property management company. So when the takeaway is that non-performing loan ratios is another critical metric, including the quality of the banking loan portfolio. A low non-performing loan ratio reflects product lending practices and asset quality. Either way, so there's so many different metrics, right? So I don't know if people haven't noticed, there would be less and less people involved in the banking stage and whatever banking is offering, unless it's a small bank, perhaps. But more and more banks would gonna outsource everything to software. The same goes for businesses where they're gonna use some of the software to do everything like administration, taxes, everything software gonna do most of the things, right? What I'm saying is perhaps we can, instead of asking assistance from different businesses, perhaps we can have more of those operations overseen by perhaps accountant and the software, and then you can manage your own finances ideally. So there wouldn't be need of getting any additional businesses involved who will try to take over of your assets, I guess. There's a lot of interesting facts about this business and other businesses and their performance, how well they're doing. Perhaps I'm not giving enough credit, right, for some of the business, how well they're operating and how much value they manage to capture the businesses up there, which is great. That's perhaps a key area of the businesses and how they should operate. If any takeaways, I guess, let's take a look at entire industry and perhaps how we can the rest of the people out there how we can safeguard our money, prevent from any disasters from happening, right? Even if some of the banks up there, not any particular bank, but any of the banks up there would give you a contract. During which contract, you would read some of the lines within the contract would say that money from the point that you would need to give money to a bank for some reason, that money won't be yours anymore. A bank owns that money, would promise to give you back your money. So that bank would use that money within a contract that would give you 90 or so pages, would say that they do with that money whatever they feel is right thing to do. So landing, buying, purchasing properties, whatever those banks would do with your money. And it used to be that the bank would need to hold 100% of your money if you would ask for the money. It would, based on the sum of the money that we're talking about. But if you would ask for your money back, well, that bank would say why you need your money back. You need to answer a bunch of questions and all that jazz, right? While that bank is doing good things with your money, right? And they don't need to. They used to be 50%. It used to be 10%, and now it's 0%. So bank don't need to even hold any money in its reserves, right? And they might give you 14 days or so to give your money back. So even if they're gonna give your money back, right? It depends on what it's between this contract that they give you to sign in the first place. So either way, so that's my takeaways from experience and some of the banks that I have dealt with. Perhaps this bank it has different contract, but most of the banks this is how they're operating. But either way, so I'm looking to perhaps save some money, whatever transaction fee might be. 2.5%, or depending on the bank, right? 2.5% of the sum that you're looking to transact, as well as additional fee, one-time fee and administration fee, and what those banks are going to be doing with my money. I'm lobbying everything good things that those banks, most of the banks are doing. For those of you who are interested in learning more, I have published a book. There's going to be a series of books, Rise Impact, and I'm going to be looking to help people in setting up their first business. In this book, I'm focusing on livestock enterprise and what you would need to know when starting your own first business. I have focused on an area of how to achieve first milestone. That would be going from zero to first $10,000 euros pounds and how to achieve this milestone. Hopefully, that will be just your first milestone that you can achieve. From there, you can progress to a second, third, hopefully just to get you started, right? So whatever information you would be interested in finding out more than achieving this milestone, and how this information can help you ideally, hopefully, to take action and achieve your goals. You can find it in the description below, as well as top details has as well. Let's finish with a conclusion about this particular business and how they're performing. HSBC Holdings stands as a global banking giant with a rich history of facilitating international trade and commerce. Its core values emphasize integrity, accountability, customer focus, and teamwork, shaping its corporation culture. The bank's financial details, market share, and performance indicators reflect position in financial history, something that we covered already. For people out there, it might be a good, if you're currently looking for a bank, a good option for you. I don't want to say don't use any of those services, but keep in mind there might be different projects out there that would pop up that you might be interested in, perhaps collaborating with some of those projects. But they might operate slightly different compared to some of the business models of that currently within the market. If you're interested in going up there shopping, right, for best services depending on what kind of problem you're looking to solve, I would highly recommend consider all the options, right? So if even right now, if you are paying for someone to administrate your capital, you need to bring your knowledge of what those people might be interested in doing with your money, right? As well as consider all the other options, right? Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.